Hello everybody, it's Joseph J. Took with Moonlit Moth Creations, and I thought maybe tonight we would make some soap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the initial setup, and then I will do video snippets and record things sort of as the process goes to explain what's going on, where I'm at with it, because there are parts of it where it very much is just sit and wait once it gets to a certain point. But I will make sure to do the video things and put them all together for you guys so that you can watch the process. And I will probably do a live at some point to record it, but I thought that since I was going to make some soaps tonight for a few orders, this is all going to be done as small batch. So I'm using everything here that I really feel like are some of the easier, simpler things that maybe you would probably have in your own house. If this were something that you were looking to try for yourself, just to show you, like more household items that can be used in the making process. Now, granted, once you use stuff for soap, it's best to use it for soap, and it'd be done. Some things, that you can wash out, like glassware, metal things that it washes out, it's fine. But any mixers or anything like that, it's best if you use it for soap to leave it for soap, just to prevent whatever. But so that is a little bit of a thing. But I will, like I said, I'm going to go through and sort of show you some of the stuff, and we'll kind of walk through this together in this video tonight. And yeah, all right, let's get started, guys. Okay guys, just a quick kind of rundown here of some of the basic things that you will need. A kitchen scale, any basic, and this is the most basic one that I could get for this to show you. Whatever, this is like a $10 Walmart kitchen scale, but it will work. Measuring things, you will need, it's best to have a stick blender, stick mixer. Ignore the honey and stuff. We'll be using a honey in the soap, but probably not that honey. It's always nice to have stir sticks that are disposable. You can just toss them out, especially if you're working with like mica colorants, things like that, where you can just throw it out, because some of those things can stain mixing utensils, and it doesn't matter if it's disposable, you just get rid of it. Glass mixing bowls, that takes the focus off, I won't do that anymore. Glass mixing bowls, metal mixing bowls, but it's very important that you keep in mind that certain aspects of the soap making process you aren't supposed to do in metal mixing bowls. So the metal here is more for additives that I'll be mixing, and I'll show that to you as we get there. Good heat resistant manual mixers. This is just a insert from like a slow cooker, like an old crock pot. So this is, we're going to be doing hot process, and I'm going to be showing the process using this. And so this actually is an item that came from the Goodwill, believe it or not. I think I paid $2 for an old crock pot, and I didn't even want the mechanism part. I just wanted this crock. I enjoy it for doing small batch single loaf makes, and this is plenty big to do a double loaf make, which is what I'm going to be doing in it initially. And then here is just a temperature gun, and this is very important in the soap making process to monitor temperatures, things like that. Pans that you would need to initially melt down any of your solid oils, like your coconut oil, cocoa butter, shea butter, beeswax, any of that stuff. You will need good pans for that. So this one has seen a lot, melted a lot of those solid oils, but it's a good little pan. And then just, you will need a separate non-metal container. I'm using this Pyrex bowl here that I will be mixing my lye water solution in, and I will show you that whenever I do have lye in there. But you want that off to the side. and it's nice if you're doing it inside, do it where you are ventilated, so the oven vent is up there to help pull any of that out. And it's good to just have towels on hand at ready, because sometimes spills happen, you know, that kind of thing. All right, but I will get set up and then I'll come back and show you the next step. All right, and we're back. I did a little bit of prep. I won't be using these two bowls in this one. I decided instead of a double loaf, we're doing a single here on this one, just for, you know, to show it off. And I wish this picked this up better. That showing up is more of like really dark color. But the soap we're making is my purple loaf, and this is why it is called purple loaf. When it is finished, it does not have much of a purple color to it. But this is the additives that will be going into it. This is, I'm letting it kind of sit and soak in water, which I took as a discount of water from my water that will go into the lye. So I measured out about a tablespoon and a half or so of the water to mix up into the clay, the rose powder, the beetroot, all that good stuff. It smells absolutely wonderful, but it is a very, very lovely purple. I wish it showed up a little better on the camera right now, but it doesn't. That's okay. But I went ahead and mixed that up. I did add my liquid oils here. These are, right now, this is olive oil and safflower oil, and then our hard oils and the little bit of honey, which just goes as like an added, it'll add a depth of color to the finished product. And also honey is a nice soothing thing for the skin. I have not melted this yet. I just wanted to show it on the video prior to warming that up. You don't want it to boil or be so hot. You want to put it on like low and just let this melt. So this is coconut oil, beeswax, and honey in this. And whenever that is liquefied on that low heat, I'm going to add it in here. I will make a video and show when I'm actually putting that in. And I have not combined these yet. This is, of course, the water. There is the water in here. And then this cup is the sodium hydroxide. That is our lye. That is very caustic. You want to, you know, that's something you want to be very careful with whenever you're messing around with it. The second water hits that, it has a chemical reaction and it gets very, very hot. So it is best to, and never add water to lye. Always add lye to water. That is the number one most vital thing with the soap making. And I just use something like this to stir it, because whenever you're adding it in, you will need to stir that around. And do as I say, not as I do here on this, because you'll notice I am not wearing gloves on this, but I've done this many times. And if you are doing this, follow the safety precautions on the gloves. Do make sure to wear them. And long sleeves as well is highly recommended, because, you know, something splashes on you, you don't want to get burnt. But all right, so I will pause here and then I will come to the next step and we'll go from there. Real quick add in while I'm waiting on my hard oils to melt. This is a sneak peek of the project that I'm working on right now. And the one that I'm going to be making a pattern on. I looked up some patterns. Those of you who've been paying attention to my other videos, you may know what this yarn was for, and it is going to be what it is. But I looked at some patterns and got some general ideas, and I just decided that I really think that I could come up with a pattern for this of my own making. So I'm going to do this, and the first one that I make here in this will be the test run, and I will use that for the base. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video series where I make one with you guys, if you'd be interested in that, a little bit of a crochet along with me, and I can go, you know, row by row and show you what I'm doing with my stitches. Some of you, if you kind of look and you're dissecting it, I know some of you are able to pick that kind of thing out. But like I said, this is the prototype here, but it is just a little sneak peek at what I'm working on, and so that is something that will be coming down the road as well. Okay, back to watching my soap. And you can see here, hopefully you could hear me when that started. You can see here that certain oils melt at different rates, and it's okay because the honey will not completely disperse into these hard oils at this point. That will not be actually emulsified into the blend until I hit it with the stick blender in the next step. But I do like to put the honey in there just because it does liquefy it more, make it easier to spread throughout the oil. But you can see the beeswax pellets are almost melted, and you don't want it to be too hot. You just want it on very low. You don't want this, you know. Sorry about that. My phone storage filled up, so I had to rectify that situation. But in the process of that, the hard oils melted. I have added them in here to my liquid oils, so now it is all liquid. You can still see the honey in there, but don't worry, don't stress on that. That will emulsify and do what it's supposed to do once the lye is added into the mix. The chemical reaction is quite impressive. It does many really very interesting things. So now I will go ahead and show you here. You won't be able to see much of a reaction, just here when I'm pouring it in. It doesn't like boil or anything like that. But you will stir. And like I said, remember, gloves. Safety, folks, safety. But look how cloudy that has gotten. You see how milky that has become. That is the initial chemical reaction. And then you just keep adding, and I will come back to you whenever that's finished. Okay, now we're over here with the oil, and it's important when you're using your stick blender, when you put it in, just sort of tap. It's a little more important in cold process than hot process, because hot process, it's a different kind of critter, but I like to keep the habit up. Make sure when you put your stick blender in, you just sort of pop it on the bottom a little bit and sort of shake it, maybe get some of the air bubble that's in there out. Now, I don't know how loud this will be on camera. If it is too loud when I do the playback for my personal watch through, I will mute that and put some music on over it or something, because I don't want it to really bother you. But you just whir it. Well, that's not bad. Okay. We're just kind of doing a first initial little emulsifying of the oils and the honey and that kind of stuff that's in there. Just making sure that all that's good and blended. You can see how the color is already richer, and there's not even any chemical reaction that's happened. That's predominantly just due to the olive oil and then a little bit of the amber coloring from the honey. Yeah. And so we will let that do that, and then we'll come over here and you see this water that's in here. Look how it's kind of clearing up, and that cloudiness has went away. And we will check it. Yeah, it is. See, it heated up quite a bit, and it has been sitting here for a few minutes, so it has done a little bit of cooling down of its own accord. Let me turn that fan down. Hold on one moment. There we go. Now you can really hear me better. Sorry about that. I forgot the fan was going. But yeah, so that heats up quite well. This, we're at 101.5, so the oil has cooled down a little bit, more than what I typically do, but that's fine. All the heat will return once the lye hits that and the saponification begins. Give me 1 second and I will set it up, and I will try to show you from an angle while I'm actually adding the lye in, the difference and what it changes the oils to. Alright guys, we are back. Sorry I wasn't able to do that. Next time I'll try to have me some help holding the camera. But this is kind of what we're doing. The lye has been added. We are just emulsifying. And we are looking for what is called trace. And with hot process, this doesn't have to be quite as exact of a science on the trace as it does in cold process. You can see how it's already, it looks much sort of thicker there. You can see the little air bubbles and the bubbles on the top. That's something in cold process you want to kind of avoid a little bit, but hot process, that doesn't matter at all. Just want to make sure once all of your lye is added into your oils, that it is in good trace. And anything with a sugar in it, so like a honey or anything like that, this is, see how that's coating? That's great. That is exactly what you're looking for. Now I'm going to rake this down in here to clean off the mixer a little bit, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. And alright, here we are now. I usually set it on the stove here just in case I have to apply light heat just to kind of expedite the process on the chemical reaction for the saponification. You wouldn't necessarily have to, but you can kickstart that by applying a little heat. A lot of people do hot process, and you can do it in a crock pot. You know, there's various different ways. You can do just straight countertop, which this is like a hybrid method between just countertop and crock pot, because technically it's in a crock pot and it's close to the counter, but it is sitting on the stove, where I do at times apply a little heat. I can show you through the rep. It's surface of 114, but then as you come down here, and the burner is not on, it's just, it will heat itself from the bottom and work its way up. So that is how the chemical reaction kind of occurs. And I didn't mention, but I use plastic wrap just to kind of seal in a little bit of that heat. And also it's a preventative, like a protective measure, because when you are doing the hot process, it can volcano and pop, like a little geyser can pop out of it, and little sprinkles of that really hot soap can pop out. And if you have the plastic wrap on there, it hits that and won't hit you or make a mess elsewise. But so yeah, now at this point that we're at, really we're just giving it time to sort of do its thing, activate its chemical reaction, and then every so often, well, you never want to take your eyes off of it with hot process. I will watch this through the entire time just to make sure, because once the chemical reaction starts, and it can volcano and it can geyser, and it will rise in the pot, and you don't want it to overflow. So when it starts rising, that's a good sign, and I will just take my little stir stick here, and I will give it a whip around in there and knock that back down. And then it'll rise, and then I'll do it again, and then it'll rise, and I'll do it again. Usually I let it do that, you know, probably about 4 times, but I'll show you kind of the stages and what they look like, because this stuff in here will change in appearance over the time that it is in there. And don't worry, it's not that I've forgotten the colorful purple additive and stuff. It's just all of that goes in with hot process right at the end. So I will come back and show you guys when it starts reacting and doing something. Right now, she's just chilling. It's okay. It'll be soap. It is starting. You can see kind of how it looks like almost starting to, I guess you'd call it rice. Yeah, that would be what I would describe it as. It is no longer silky smooth. You see that? That is the beginnings of that chemical reaction that is going to turn it into soap. So I'm just sort of tapping that off a little bit there, so you can see those little dots of soap. It is getting there. All right, I will be back when it changes a little more. And you guys see how it almost sort of looks like a cross between applesauce and mashed potatoes right now, right? Yep, we're getting there. We are getting there. It's just the waiting game. Sometimes it reacts really quickly and you'll get, you know, a container of soap really fast, and sometimes the chemical reaction, depending on what types of oils you use and your water lye ratio and stuff like that, it can take a little more time. But this is coming along nicely. It'll be bubbling and probably volcanoing anytime, and I'll come back and show you when it starts that. Oh, you can kind of see the moisture there along the side. I'm hoping that it'll start it again while you're watching. Sorry if my hand is a little shaky. I've had a good bit of back pain today, but it's just part of it, right? Come on. Dude, oh, there, looky there. Look. She's trying. She's turning into soap, guys. I love it. No matter how many times I see it happen, it's always fun each time. No matter if it's a small batch like what we have here, or if it's a a larger thing, it's just it's fun, and brings out the kid in me, the little kid with the science set. But all right, I will come back and show you here in a minute. See what we got now. Look at that. It's so different looking, isn't it? It's starting to see that that sheen that's there now. It is it's heavy into the saponification process now. You can see like it still has some creaminess here around the edges. It's really good. We're just stirring it up, mixing, so all that stuff gets in there. And it is very, very hot at this stage, y'all. It is very hot. But you can see how, I don't know how to explain it, how it almost has like a glycerin type sheen and texture starting to form. It is almost soap. I love it. Alright, I forgot to show you me adding in the cup of additives, but you can see now that purple color right now looks almost like a grayish brown, but that will change as the soap solidifies and gets set up in the mold. I just make sure that all the stuff is good and mixed in at this point. You scrape your sides down, all that good stuff. Get it mixed in, and then we are going to get it set into a mold. So let me do that real quick. I would show you me putting it in the mold, but I'm having to hold the camera right now because it's just me. But I will show you once it is in the mold, and we'll go from there. All right, and here is the soap in the mold, and as I said, it's darker right now. It won't finish that color. It never does in hot process. As it sits in here and it cools, it's safe. I mean, it's completely soap right now. The best part about hot process is you're able to wash all of your soap dishes just using the soap that was created in making the soap, because the residue on the containers and everything is really good. And then you just sanitize, you know, make sure no cross-contamination and stuff. But it's just kind of an added little fun thing. But this is the purple loaf that made a single thing, and then a couple little smaller molds for what I call house soap, which will be soap that we use here at the house with the remnants that are scraped out of the containers. But this is the complete loaf. This one, of course, is an order for someone. So it's Spoon, actually. Anybody that knows Spoon, she will be getting the purple loaf. I think there'll be a bar or so out of here that will be past what she ordered. But there it is. That is a loaf of soap. Now I just have to let it sit in there. I'll let it sit in the mold until probably in the morning, and then I'll take it out, cut it, and since it's hot process, it'll be ready to go as soon as I get it cut. So thank you guys. I know this wasn't the best little video. Next time it will be better. I'll have someone help me with the camera and stuff like that. But this might hopefully have given you some little insight into at least part of the process, and watching how it was done with items that I tried to do as much as I could with items that would be easier or more common to find in your own kitchen. Even this pan here is not even a true soap mold. This is actually a bake-safe loaf pan, but I really enjoy them. They're a nice size for the loaves, especially since I like the big, chunky, thick cut bars. This just has a nice width and size to it. So, all right, but I guess that'll be it for now. Do all the standard YouTube-y stuff, you know, hit that subscribe button, the like button. Those thumbs mean the world. Thank you guys very much, and I will be coming at you again with videos here pretty soon.